what's up? I am MuchelleB, and in this video I want to talk about some actionable things that you can start doing to stop wasting your time on social media. Sites like Instagram, Facebook, Twitter have literally been designed to keep you continuously checking in on them. On average, we're all checking our phones about 150 times a day, which is crazy. I think that social media is amazing in so many ways, but I guess the issue arises when you feel like you're not totally in control of how often you're checking social media, how often you're on social media, when it's affecting how you feel, how in control of yourself you feel, and your mood on a daily basis. So for those of you who feel like social media is like slightly taking over your life, or it's affecting how you feel more than you think it should, so this video is full of actionable things for you. This video is sponsored by Skillshare, which is an excellent alternative to social media, or even Netflix if Netflix is something that you find yourself wasting time on. Skillshare is an online learning community with over 17,000 courses in things like the Adobe suite, design, photography, watercolor videography, essentially all of the creative fields and some businessy fields as well. So if you could replace getting sucked down like a weird YouTube rabbit hole, or even binge watching a mediocre TV show on Netflix, with a habit of watching a Skillshare course, you put yourself on the path to transforming your life. Skillshare is a more affordable option than most learning platforms out there. It's around $10 a month for an annual subscription. I'll talk about Skillshare a little bit more later in this video, but if you wanted to give it a try, the first 500 people to use a link in the description below will get their first 2 months for 99 cents. So the first very actionable thing that you can be doing to stop yourself from wasting time on social media is to download helpers. And I'm going to recommend some specific apps and extensions that I've found helpful. All social media apps have been designed to be as addictive as possible. Some people compare it to something like gambling, which is incredibly addictive. I heard something once on a podcast, they've created the notifications on Facebook to be as addictive as like pulling the lever in gambling. I don't gamble. But essentially in gambling, once you pull the lever, they make you wait a few seconds for the screen to refresh. So Facebook does the same thing with notifications. When you click on it, it takes like a few seconds in order for you to see the notifications, and that's when the chemicals in your brain get released that help to create that addictive effect that Facebook has. So if you're going to try and curb a habit that is as addictive or nearly as addictive as gambling, download any tools that will reduce the amount of effort on your part. So first up, for my phone, Feedless is an app that I have been loving. Basically, Feedless just blocks the feed of your Facebook in Safari. So I've deleted the Facebook app, and if I want to check Facebook, I can go onto Safari, type in facebook.com. I can see my notifications, which is great if I get invited to any events. You can also pay a little bit extra to have it block your feed in Instagram and Safari. So this is my ideal version of social media blocking. I can still be connected, I can still get invites to events, people can tag me in things. However, every time I get a notification, I don't then sit there for an hour on my Facebook feed scrolling through things that I don't really care about. In Google Chrome, you can get an extension that does the same thing. It's called Kill Newsfeed. Or if you want to go cold turkey, you can download apps like Stay Focused, Block Website, or Freedom. So the second thing that you should do if you're trying to reduce your time on social media is to turn off notifications. You already know this one, you've heard it before, you know it's a good idea. If you haven't done it yet, do it now. Notifications are the biggest triggers for bad social media habits. You get a notification, then you go onto Instagram, then you find yourself scrolling through the feed for 50 minutes, and then you're like, oh crap, how did that happen? All notifications do is literally remind you to go on social media every 20 minutes or so. The next thing that you should do is replace your social media habit with something more productive. So for some of us, social media is such a big part of our life that it's hard to know what to do without it. Maybe you get home and you spend an hour on social media. If you just ditch social media, if you have nothing else to do, it's gonna be a struggle. You're going to be sitting there just tempted to go on Instagram again. So one way to do it is to move Instagram into some weird folder where it's harder to find, and replace where it used to be with an app that makes you happier after using it. An app that makes you actually feel productive and good about yourself, like Skillshare. I recently did a few days off social media and I found myself going to a Skillshare course about interior design. I'm going to Europe soon, or I will be in Europe when this video uploads, and when I get back, I want to redesign my space. It was really good. It gave you like a step-by-step instruction on how to design your space so that it looks like a Pinterest photo, which is, you know, what I secretly want. The people that deliver the Skillshare courses, they are legit. It is much more interesting listening to someone that you kind of know. Maybe you follow them on Instagram or Facebook, or teaching you stuff that helps you to improve your skills and unlock new opportunities. The next actionable thing that you can do to stop wasting your time on social media is to unfollow the people who make you unhappy. So I'm assuming that you don't want to cut off social media in full, especially if you're a young person. Social media can be a huge part of connecting with other humans. You maybe still want to post the occasional Instagram story or see the photos that you're tagged in. If you're going to kick around on social media, make your feeds more uplifting. On Instagram, cull like crazy. Stop following that person that you knew in high school that only posts weird rants alongside like dark grainy photos, or that person that you met in an event one time you didn't realize was slightly sexist and racist and posts uncomfortable quotes on their Instagram like this. If you're going to expose yourself to social media, make the content that you view uplifting, inspiring, funny, entertaining. Don't make it content that brings you down. The next thing that you can do is opt out of social media at certain times of the day. So something I like to do, which I've talked about before, is literally turn my phone off of a morning. I also like to keep it in another room. If my phone is with me of a morning while I'm trying to do work, I find myself continually looking at my phone, checking my phone, and I'll catch myself and then just be like, oh God, why is this in here? I'll turn it off. I'll walk to another room of the house and I'll put it down. And then I'll forget about my phone for 2 hours. And then on my browser, I have my social media blockers set for those particular hours. Carve out those particular times per day that you don't want to be on social media. And my next tip is to take a few days off every month. So I actually haven't taken social media sabbaticals very often. I always thought that they were a bit of a finicky thing to do. However, I am now 3 days into a short stint of not using Instagram and Facebook, and it's like a mini holiday for your mind. For me, the point of a mini social media sabbatical is just to not do anything mind-numbing for a few days. When I get home, instead of using apps like Instagram and Facebook, I'm following my own advice. I'm using apps like Libby, which is an online library. I am using Skillshare. I ran through a Skillshare course. My Calm app. And these are all apps that make me feel so much better after using them. It's just a nice way to relax your mind every month. So a way to make this actionable is to hop into your calendar right now and actually block out like the last 5 days of the month and make those your days without social media. So those are the actionable things that you can do to stop wasting time on social media. Download helpers. I will have the links in the description below to all of the apps and extensions that I mentioned. Turn off your notifications. If you haven't done that, do it now. Replace social media with something more productive. So actually decide what you're going to do instead of going on social media for an hour of an afternoon. Download an app like Skillshare. The first 500 people to use the link below will get the first 2 months for 99 cents. Unfollow people who bring you down on social media. Block out social media free times in your day, whether it be morning or when you get home from work, and block out a few days per month that you take a break from social media. So those are my main tips for not going on social media, and I know that some of them probably seem a bit obvious. However, if you're currently struggling with going on social media too much and you're not doing these things, actually take action, actually do some of them, and I promise that you will notice a difference. If you want to join a community of like-minded babes who are all about intentional living, behavioral design, click the subscribe button down below to see videos every week from my channel. I appreciate you guys so very much, and I will see you soon.